listening to The Sizzle on Iron Skillet Radio and Iron Skillet Television.
You know who it is. You know what it is. It's The Sizzle back in the building. We are hot as ever. Hotter than ever. Yeah. We are so hot. We are in fuego. You know who's in the building. I'm G Sizzle. He's J Sizzle. Jay, what's going on with you today?
Man, I'm feeling good today, man. I'm a little less cold, which is good because them sub-zeros was getting the brother down. Especially when we move up in age. And congratulations to you, the birthday fella. You got your birthday hat on, looking very birthday over there. You're finally legal now, 21 years of age, can't be taken advantage of anymore. Happy birthday, brother.
Well, you know what?
I know, right?
The NBA gods also granted me on this birthday day, not just a crown, which is a very nice crown. I have to say it's a very nice crown. But they gave us
crown.
Thank you. They gave us football, basketball, baseball. They gave us everything in one because we got everything that happens. You got basketball trades that look like football trades that look like baseball trades. You know why? Because none of it makes sense. You just move money to make money.
I don't even know if they'll have baseball this year the way they going, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They are tripping with baseball.
They're tripping. Yeah.
Okay, so let's break down some quick moves. I mean, we'll just see what grades you give it. I'll throw it out there and you tell me what you think. Since the deadline was today, let's look at some of the things that went down. Sabonis for Halliburton. So Sabonis goes to Sacramento. Tyrese Halliburton and list of other things goes to Indiana. How do you rate this trade right now for what you saw?
Well, Indiana has pulled the plug on this season and maybe for the next 5 years because they're on a super rebuild project over there. I mean, they ejected everybody. But Tyrese Halliburton is one of these guys who I think is a piece you could build around. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to get somebody, then you did. Pacers, though, I think they're going to be irrelevant for a while. Because they just don't, they're starting from scratch, absolutely scratch. So unless you see them doing something like what the Bulls did when they jettisoned everybody, but I don't know if that upper management group down there is just as well as getting ready to perform like the Bulls group did. We'll wait and see on that one. But, Tyrese Halliburton you can build around. Does he make you go, woohoo, yay? Not necessarily, but, it's okay.
So we've got the Clippers and the Trailblazers. They kind of exchange pieces. The Clippers receive Robert Covington and Norman Powell. The Trailblazers got Eric Bledsoe, Keon Johnson, Justice Winslow, a 2025 second-round pick from LA via Detroit. It's a whole lot of something going on, but it sounds like a whole lot of nothing. Jay, what say you to the Clippers having any relevance this season?
Back to you.
I knew you were going to do that.
Clippers ain't going to do nothing with that. That was just a whole lot of people going a lot of different places. Nothing going to happen on that. I mean, the only really big trades out here is going to make any difference down the line. Like we'll get to it. We'll talk about it later on. I'll wait for you to bring it up. But these trades around here, nobody really got the help that they should have got. You're looking at some people throwing some money around. The one thing I was really surprised, and correct me if I'm wrong, did the Bulls do anything?
No, the Bulls stayed pat. And we talked about that off camera earlier. I don't know if they had a lot to do. It's a sad day for my Bulls, but moving right along.
Well, I mean, who would it? I mean, there was nobody they could give up, though. I think that was the issue. I mean, I'm sure there were people in the pipeline, but who are you going to give up? They're not giving up Patrick Williams because that's their love child. That's the Superman. They sent him from Krypton, Jarrell, and he landed. And even though he ain't been, and I don't know, maybe I'm missing it. I just don't see all the hoopla with Patrick Williams. And I'm sure there's people going to say, well, they say he's a defensive stopper and this, that, and another. LeBron said that, and LeBron's been hanging numbers on him for a while. Right. So, and then every once in a while, he has an offensive explosion of 20 points. Okay, woo! I don't know if this is the guy, but as for giving up anybody else, who else were they had nobody to give up. So I don't think the Bulls were in a position to do anything else. And I think they're one of the top teams in the East to get everybody back. I think they're just going to run back with what they got. So that's the reason why. But I was surprised. I thought that they were going to pull something off. Maybe you would have saw one of the younger players get packaged up and get out of there, and they bring in a big man for this push. But it looks like to me like the Bulls are thinking this is a team who very possibly could be on top of the East for the next 3 or 4 years, and we're not giving up any of our young core to make any rash moves in the East right now.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because we're all going to talk about the biggest trade. Indiana getting rid of Karis LeVert, sending him to Cleveland. There were smaller moves made all around the league. Even Porzingis was sent from Dallas. And it just, all of these little moves, they were all little ancillary moves, but they don't move the needle as far as where you see. Now, maybe, again, Karis LeVert, maybe with Cleveland, might have some kind of impact in the playoff race, but the centerpiece trade, the thing that everybody's talking about, is Brooklyn and Philly. And the Brooklyn and Philly trade breaks down like this. Brooklyn receives Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, a 2022 first-round pick unprotected, a 2027 first-round pick protected. Philly gets James Harden, and they get Paul Millsap, which was, I thought, a target for the Bulls if he had been bought out. So in relationship, I thought the Bulls were going to be able to get Paul Millsap. He goes to Philly, solidifies their front line. Do these two trades, Jay, between Brooklyn and Philly, does that shift the balance of power in the East, or are we still where we were? Or just, again, are we just moving chairs on the deck here?
No, Philly's decidedly better. I mean, you got rid of a problem child in Ben Simmons. I mean, does anybody care where Seth Curry plays? I mean, he's a shooter, but he's not a guy who's just going to ring it up for you on a regular basis. He's not his brother. He's not a guy. I mean, he's a deep threat, but is he moving the needle for you? Mm-hmm. But now you're taking Harden, and now you're placing him with Joel Embiid. So 1-2. That's a 1-2-2-2 punch going on right there. And if you get a ticked off James Harden going at it right now, I would say he drops about 10 or 15 pounds going into the season. Because we saw a little haterade going on. I don't know. Did you watch the All-Star picks today?
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to watch that?
A lot of little shots taken. Durant and the King took a lot of shots.
Huge shots went. And you saw Kevin Durant, expressionless Kevin Durant, say, I don't have no ill will, but he would not pick James Harden to be on his team. But we obviously know that you want James Harden on any of your all-star teams. You want him on there. And so now you look at a situation where you get James Harden, it's like, oh, you gonna play me like that? The beard? You gonna get the beard upset? What? All of a sudden my hamstring feels fantabulous. I'm about. Hey, the 76ers are better now. If you look and see what. Okay, let me take a look here and see what happens. So they got rid of Ben Simmons. Okay, why does anybody think it work over there with the Nets? I mean, seriously, here's a guy that wouldn't take a layup when he had an open layup. He doesn't want to shoot a jump shot. So he really doesn't want to play basketball, but he's 6'11" and a high pick, and so they're still going to pay him. That's what happens when you're 6'11". But this is a guy who I don't think wants any of the smoke. And so then you send him over there with Seth Curry, Andre Drummond. Now, here's the thing about it. I was reading this earlier. Let me make sure I got this right? Okay. So it looks like Harden, they had Harden for 2 seasons, right? But look at the price they paid for Harden.
Right.
They Jared Allen, Karis LeVert is gone.
Mhm.
3 first-round picks, 2022, 2024, and 2026, right? Basically swapped around for Simmons, Curry, and Drummond, and 2 first. So you lost the pick. So I mean, look what you lost. And I don't believe. And now you got Kyrie Irving. Did he take the shot? Did he do that yet?
No,
because he can't play only half games now.
right. He still
So
can't play
I
home
mean,
games.
KD got screwed. Yeah, KD got screwed on this. Harden screwed him, and then Kyrie Irving screwed him. Screwed him. There's no love. Don't you think KD would have loved to be with the Golden State Warriors right now?
We talked about that off
You know what I'm
camera.
saying?
Yeah. I mean, I never would have left Golden State. That's just me. I would not have left, but I think he thought he had something. I don't know what he thought he had. I really don't. As you look at it, I don't know now what he had, really. I just thought about that. Wow, the loss of Jared Allen. And he's gone right now to
seriously.
Cleveland and made
Right.
them one of the best defensive teams. I think they're number one in defensive matrix and protecting the paint at the rim. That's a lot to lose. Now if you putting it back into perspective, that's a lot.
And so now you look at James Harden going right to the point guard position where he needs to be.
Correct.
You know, because he was being overworked with the Nets. He was dribbling the basketball way too much, and I think his hamstring was protesting. I'm going to be amazed to see how quickly this turnaround comes, how quick his hamstring feels better. The 76ers are now decisively better because they have James Harden. Joel Embiid is ridiculously good. And now he's going to be even better because you really cannot double down on him now. Because if you leave Harden alone, he's going to hit you with the 1-2 step, the boogity mashmoogie out there, and he's going to run to the sidelines while he's holding, but they never call travel on him. And he's going to shoot the J like he's remember the Dave Chappelle skit with the purple one.
Yes.
He's going to call Darlin Picky. He's going to call Darlin Picky out there, and he's going to let it fly. And you're going to see James Harden with a lot of one-on-ones. So I think the Sixers are way much better right now. Because think about, here's a stat I saw that was amazing. All right. It says Embiid has appeared in 159 regular season games since 2019 and 2020, right?
Okay.
Kyrie Irving and KD have just tallied 178 games during that period of time combined. So you got 2 guys out here who can't stay on the floor, and you got Embiid who has gotten better, right? When's the next big injury coming? When's the next big Kyrie injury coming? When's the next big KD injury coming? Because you know it's coming. Because here's the thing about this crazy about this. We're only at the All-Star game. We're only halfway through. You know one of them is going down. So I think the Brooklyn Nets, I think they just traded themselves out of an opportunity to win a championship. We saw when that team got together, we thought that team was unbeatable. The only people who could beat that team was themselves, and we find that out. Now one piece of the big 3 is gone, and the other piece can only play half the time. So they're the big 1.5.
So let's wrap it up with this. Since the big 1.5 is there, we talked about the Bulls and where they go. Now they've got a lot of pieces coming back off of injury probably after the All-Star break, and maybe some not until right before the playoffs. They've still got some players out.
Yeah.
It looks like, and that's the weird part, Patrick Williams might be ready after the All-Star break. Might somewhere in that window.
Exactly. And now you're looking at, this is just like the Bulls getting trading and getting free agents back to their ball club. If you see a Patrick Williams coming in, if you see Lonzo coming back, you see the the bald headed headband wearing young fella. You see him coming back now, giving you super energy again. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, this is like adding people. Absolutely. You see, like this is like adding people to your roster right now because they've been gone for a while. Look at DeRozan playing incredible basketball. He's probably top 15 in the league right now. Probably top 15 in the league. So you got him playing. Now you're going to get can't think of the other guard. I'm sorry. I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, you're talking about
light-skinned fella.
Oh my goodness. How can you forget Zach LaVine?
Because you forgot it too. It just popped in your head. Don't be looking at me like, oh, how you forget? How you like?
How you gonna forget? How you gonna forget Zach LaVine? Everybody knows Zach LaVine,
right? But you got Zach LaVine. You got Zach LaVine coming back into his own. Now you got Zoe coming back. And maybe Patrick Williams. That's a lot. That's a lot of minutes coming on the floor. And now you have Io and the young fellas out here who've been playing big minutes for the Chicago Bulls. Hey, these guys 1 through 9, 1 through 10 right now are all capable of putting in and contributing for a push. The Bulls are going to be tough to beat. There's no doubt about that. The only thing the Bulls don't have is that big man, but maybe they don't need him. Maybe they just going to run people out the gym.
Well, you got Bradley there as your backup, but I don't like how everything works with them. But my question always is, when you look at the Bulls, they have not fared well against the top 3 seeds in the East when they're fully healthy. We saw Brooklyn when its big 3 unit came in, they were blown out. You saw them get beat up by Philly at all times. I mean, Philly has had their number for at least the last 2 seasons, I know. And now you've got Boston making a resurgence. They're the number 1 defensive team now coming back from January going forward. May not prove anything right now, but could be problematic down the road. So you still got some top teams. I'm not afraid of Atlanta. I'm not afraid of Charlotte. Not afraid of probably anybody outside of Philly, the Brooklyn Nets, and maybe well, I'm afraid of West teams when it comes to the Bulls.
Well, who's not afraid of West teams?
Yeah, when you see
who's not afraid of them? Yeah, who's not afraid of them? I mean, we don't even count. We're just trying to win the East. If you can win the East, then you can go in there and maybe play bully ball. Maybe you get one of these guys who get dinged up a little bit or something like that. I think that's the only way the East is going to beat the West anyway. And
maybe I drink too much Kool-Aid. I wasn't disheartened by the way the Bulls played against the Bucks. Now, even though the Bucks sent out their bully boy, I never got mad with Grayson Allen because Grayson Allen did what goons are supposed to do. He did a goon move and he took out one of their best defenders and made it a very easy path for them to sit on top of the Eastern Conference. But had they had a little bit more firepower, that Bucks-Bulls game was a lot closer than the final score even told you. In fact, if it hadn't been for 2 turnovers, the Bulls probably would have won that game. So with that said,
well, the problem.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, the problem with that game was that just what you said. The Bulls need to be bullies.
Mm-hmm.
They need to come out and let's fight a little bit. I mean, you got enough angry young people to do it. I think a little bit of too much scoring is being put on DeMar DeRozan right now. Okay. I think somebody else has to pick that up because can he sustain this going in for the rest of the year? We're only half of the year down right now. You know what I'm saying? So can he sustain this MVP talk of the league right now? Can he sustain this? I don't think he can. So you're going to have to see Zoe. You're going to have to see a number of players on the Bulls pick up 10 or 12 points somewhere that DeMar DeRozan is, because he's not going to ring up these big numbers. He's not going to keep hitting these game winners day in and day out. It's just he's not that player. I mean, this is a resurgence of him. When he got here, we didn't think that this was DeMar DeRozan that we got here. Right. People thought he was a good player, but didn't think he was going to be this good. Nobody did. Anybody said they did it, that they're fibbing because nobody thought that it was going to be the way it's going to be. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen here now. Very interested in the East right now because I think the East is gettable for the Bulls. You look at what the Bulls. Oh wait, hold on. What the Bucks do? The Bucks got Ibaka.
Yeah, they got Ibaka, traded out DiVincenzo to Sacramento. They did a little moving and some shares around.
Ibaka.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so that gives them another body inside. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Who they give up? Yeah, Marvin Bagley.
Marvin Bagley's going to Detroit, which that should be interesting. And Detroit keeping and holding on to Jeremy Grant. That should be. In fact, the Bulls were the only team that didn't make a significant move during this free agency period. And so I don't know if that's troubling. I'm really at a loss to see what, they didn't make any moves. And so if you think you're good with, and I mean, again, financially, they don't have a lot of resources. They're kind of capped out. You don't have a lot of draft capital. So unless you get some people on the buyout market, you're not going to, unless Toronto buys out Thaddeus Young, unless you get somebody else, another big who might come in, because I really thought Thaddeus Young would be a good option for them from San Antonio. But Gordon Dragic is probably going to get bought out, and he's probably going to go to Dallas. Rich had talked about what was going to happen with Dennis Schroeder and make sure Dennis Schroeder see if he would be a Bulls target. So I don't know where the Bulls go now. If really going nowhere,
they don't go nowhere. They don't go nowhere. They do what they're doing right now. Dude, this Serge Ibaka though, because now you put him in with Bobby Portis and Giannis, and now you let Brook Lopez get some rest. With that back being jacked up like it is. Oh, that's gonna be a little ugly. You talk about bullier basketball now. Right. They might come out on the court with a baseball bat. They might come out and warm up in some leather jackets. Talking about we're gonna put the boot to you.
Yeah, that's right. It's gonna be
that's not gonna be pretty. That's not gonna be pretty. That's not good for the East right there at all. When you got Serge Ibaka up there with them guys right now. Thad Young went to Toronto. Oh well.
I don't think they're going to hold on. I really don't think they're going to hold on to Thad Young. I really don't. That would be great. I don't see how he has a place in Toronto. Like if you put him there, what are you going to do? Do you really want to? You want to put him there to do what? To offset some of the play? Because they didn't get rid of Boucher. They still are. They're kind of in that weird zone where they're trying to develop their young people. And I don't see Thad Young sticking up there. Good player, but I don't see him.
Well, you know what? Yeah, but they weren't really using him that much. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it was like, give up a piece we're not using, maybe we get something back for it. You know what I'm saying? If you got a guy not playing significant minutes for you, I don't care what his potential level is, you cut him loose if somebody else wants him. So that's what you see a lot of that going on. What else? I'm trying to see if anything else is eye-catching down here. Anybody else? No. Tyrese Halliburton.
I mean, again,
else really.
The Pacers just had a fire sale. They were pretty much anybody you can want except Malcolm Brogdon. Take them with you, because I think they would have gotten rid of Miles Turner if he were not injured or conveniently injured before the trade deadline. That sounds.
It's just one. Yeah, it's just one of them situations. The whole thing about it is that you can see some movement, but the thing about it is the teams that were already going to be significant players for a championship were already pretty much good to go. And so all the other movement, a lot of the other movement you see was really just trying to pick up draft picks if they could and tried to move money off the books because that's what these mid-level teams have to do to stay viable in the league. And then the more money that keeps getting paid out to these top stars, these mid-level teams are not going to have the same opportunity to produce ball clubs out here that are going to be great unless you're like Milwaukee and you land a Giannis or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You still your top tier teams. There's going to still be your top tier teams.
Well, that's funny. You've got Boston, you've got Atlanta. They stayed pat. They needed to be better. They needed to get better to be competitive. Now, maybe Trae Young's dad's right. His son did pull off the shocker last season, and maybe they'll do something equally as significant. I don't see it. I see a lot of bad movement going around in Atlanta right now. And if I'm correct, Atlanta's under 500 at this moment. So it's going to be an uphill climb for them.
Can you win a championship with just Trae Young, though? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at, he's Curry light, but he's not enough to carry you every night. Right now, he's putting up numbers, but he's a high volume shooter too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He's gonna pound the basketball. He's gonna get his shots up. Now he'll give you 25 or 30, but he might take 30 shots to get it. Right. He's not Mr. Efficiency.
Yeah. So it's a lot to look at. It's a lot to unpack. We know where the Bulls stand now. We know that they'll probably be players in the secondary market with some of these buyouts by the weekend. I think next week we'll have a better gauge as to where the Bulls stand. But for right now, the Bulls seems like they're one of the biggest losers. And between Philly and New York, however you want to say it, Brooklyn and Philly, I think they both are winners in this last installment of the trade deadline.
I believe, as you're saying, I think the 76ers won that deal. I think you're going to see a resurgence of James Harden, who's going to be a little pissed off now because he was the last pick in the All-Star game, which we all know he's still top 5 offensive player in the league right now. We're including Steph Curry, the Ja Morant. We're including, he's top 5 offensive player in the league right now. Right. And still, and to be disrespected like that, and to be disrespected by LeBron. Mm-hmm. Think about that. LeBron didn't take him either until the last pick. Hey, quick thing about that's Ja Morant. What the heck is going on?
Look, we don't have enough time to really talk about Ja Morant. I was going to bring him up when you were talking about Trae Young, because the question is Ja Morant going to be? Can he keep this going? That's the question. Can he do the Trae Young because the Grizzlies were good when he was on the shelf. I think they went on a 10-game winning streak or something like that. I don't know.
Ja Morant is probably one of the best athletes we have seen in the NBA in a long time. And his power to weight ratio is ridiculous. He is super light, but he gets up off the floor higher and faster than anybody. Did you see that? I know it's old dudes. We're talking a month out now. But you saw that two-handed block to the top of the square? We haven't seen that in the league. Have you seen anybody get up to the top of the square recently? The last guy you saw that was with the Pelicans who could jump that high.
Well, the funny part, I saw a write-up where they compared Ja Morant, young Ja Morant, or this new Ja Morant, to a young Derrick Rose. And I said, And then when you look at the numbers, you say numbers-wise, now maybe not the same player-wise, but numbers-wise, Ja Morant, where he is right now, is this year 3 or 4 for him? Somewhere from around this time, he's putting up some of those Derrick Rose-looking numbers. And you start to think he's a good athlete. He's in that Derrick Rose mold of being a great athlete and ball player. So if I have to take Ja Morant or Trae Young, I'm taking Ja Morant.
I'm taking Ja Morant. I'm telling you right now, I'm probably taking Ja Morant in the entire league. Only reason why he wouldn't go higher, only reason why he really go higher because of his height. But to tell you right now, I mean, I probably would take Ja Morant. I'm trying to think who I would take over Ja Morant right now. If you're going to start, I mean, do you want to age KD? Do you want to age LeBron? I mean, LeBron just with his mind is and physically, so I mean, you still will probably start with LeBron. But as for a guard, and if he ever develops an outside jumper, if he really develops that 18-footer, that little stop and pop little thing that he could do, because he has it, it's there for him all the time, and he's relentless. Ja Morant is relentless. I mean, I'm just scared that somebody's going to go up there and take him out one day. I mean, as fast as he comes up off the floor and he attacks the rim like he attacks the rim, I mean, the way he's flying like that, because I think he's like 165 pounds, maybe 160, and he can jump like that. He's ridiculous. Ja Morant is probably one of the most explosive players we've seen in a long time. Who just, I think he plays around with that chip on his shoulder. I wasn't the guy. Y'all passed me by. You didn't give me any offers going into college, and now I'm super bad. And he's gonna ball out. He's gonna be silly in this All-Star game. He's gonna poke on somebody. You can rest assured about that.
Well, as long as Ja Morant stays away from Grayson Allen, I guess everything else will work well. But
oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, well, man, this is coverage that only you can get here. And remember, leave your comments in the section below. Make sure you tell us what you're thinking. Make sure that you're liking, subscribing, and sharing. And make sure that you're checking us out on our other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You can catch us anywhere, even Twitch. We're there for you. We are the Sizzle. We are the talk of the 219. We're the hardest talk in the 219. And when we come back, our next episode, we're going to break down the Super Bowl for you. We're going to give you some Super Bowl information that you can take with you as the weekend's games getting ready to come. And we're going to just get this coverage started, baby. So you know who it is. He's J Sizzle. I'm G Sizzle. And we will see you, my friend, on the other side.
Make sure that you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Iron Skillet Sports. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to Iron Skillet Sports on YouTube at Iron Skillet Sports.